Okay, let's just check if you're live. Okay, so I hope that my audio and video is proper. Just give me 1 second, students. Check it. Hmm. So, hi, hello, my dear students. A very good evening to everyone. I hope that everyone is fine. And this is Ritika, your chemistry educator. Now, students, today we are going to have a very important session for grade 9, especially. So, today we are going to study about Mendeleev's periodic table, right? Now, in this chapter, in this session, we are going to primarily focus on Mendeleev's periodic table, how how Mendeleev got the idea and how he started, and what are the different properties, and what are the important features, or what were the defects. Okay, so basically, we are going to cover every single thing about Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, so I guess without wasting any further time, we should get started. Talking about me, I have completed my engineering in electronics and communication, and I have been a chemistry educator for a while. Also, students, you can join us on the Telegram channel. So, if you want to, require the class notes, if you require the help in the homework, then you can join the Telegram channel. The links of the channel they will be provided to you in the description box. Okay, so basically, if you need to stay updated on what is happening at an academy, what are the ongoing offers, what is the exam, or if there are any scholarship tests, so everything you'll be getting in detail on the official channel of Unacademy. Okay, now students, let's get started with Mendeleev's periodic table. Now, before that, let us try to have a quick overview of what came before Mendeleev. Right. So, students, as everyone knows, classification was a very important thing. It was much needed thing. Why? Because as the more and more number of elements were being found, what was happening is was there was a confusion. There was a need of any particular method which makes the study of elements pretty easy. Right, and for that reason classification was needed. So before Mendeleev, there were various other chemists, scientists, people who gave their own classification. In fact, the very first classification, it was by Antony Lavoisier, right? So he classified the elements into metals and non-metals, okay? And then we had Daubernier's classification, okay, wherein there were triads. I hope everyone know what is meant by triad. Okay, he arranged the elements in the group of three. We won't be going into detail. Then came Newland's. So there was octaves. Hi Ishan, hello, how are you? So Newland gave his octaves, okay, and all of these laws they failed because of some reason or the other. We are not concerned about that for now. After that came Mendeleev. So Mendeleev's periodic law. Okay, now every arrangement that was done, it was getting failed. Okay, due to some or the other reason. Okay, now at the time of Mendeleev students, there were approximately 63 elements which were known. So what did Mendeleev do? He arranged these elements according to the increasing atomic mass. Okay, and in fact from among all the periodic tables which failed, the Mendeleev's periodic table really helped a lot in the formation of modern periodic table. So he arranged those elements according to the increasing atomic masses, and then he gave various important laws, or I would say various important points regarding his periodic table. Okay, so what did this Mendeleev's periodic law state? The Mendeleev's periodic law stated that the physical and chemical properties of elements are a periodic function. Mehul not here. Of their atomic masses. Now students, what happened was he arranged the elements according to the increasing atomic masses. Okay, and then he saw a bit of periodicity. Okay, and then he gave this law. Now here I have used a word which is periodic function. Now what do we mean by periodic function? Basically, periodic function means the properties which are repeating after a certain interval of time. Okay, periodicity, as you all might be knowing, right? So there are certain properties of elements which are getting repeated, or which in which we are seeing a certain gradation, okay, or degradation, anything, after a particular interval of time, and those are known as periodic properties. Okay, so this thing, the physical and chemical properties and the periodicity that we see in them, it is due to atomic masses. Okay, so this was actually told by Mendeleev. So he actually took the base of arranging the elements as atomic mass. Okay, the atomic mass was taken as the base. Okay, now if I Okay, let's have a look at the Mendeleev's periodic table. So this is how his periodic table looked like. So we'll be seeing some of the essential features of Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, and then we will be taking this study further. Okay, so just have a look. You can see the elements, they are arranged, and they are all arranged according to their increasing atomic masses. Of course, there were some problems, but we'll be discussing in the further session. Okay. Now let's talk about the essential features. In Mendeleev's periodic table, what did he do? He arranged the elements in the groups and columns. Groups and periods. Okay, so he had the groups and period. Same thing we also have in our modern periodic table. Okay, so all those vertical columns, they were known as groups, and all the horizontal rows, they were known as period. Okay, I hope this thing is very much clear. Now let us move on to how the periodic table was arranged. Okay, now in his periodic table, there were a total of 8 groups. That is group number 1 to group number 8. Okay, and from all these groups, group number 1 to group number 7, they were again subdivided. Subdivided means they were divided into group A and B. Okay, so as you can see it over here, see group number 1 to 7, they are being divided into A and B, and everywhere you can see the same thing, right? Chalo. Next thing is, if I talk about element of any subgroup, it had got the similar properties. Okay, so that means what? If I talk about here, okay, group number 1, subgroup A. So hydrogen, lithium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, they were all having the similar properties according to Mendeleev. Okay, so this was what was depicted through his periodic table. Okay, so the elements of any particular subgroup, they would be having similar properties as in valency, their reacting nature, etc, etc. Okay, now next thing is, as we are moving from left to right in the periodic table, the metallic nature, it decreases. Which means as we are moving from left to right in the periodic table, हमारा जो element है उसका जो property है, nature है, वो metallic nature से लेकर के धीरे धीरे it turns out non-metallic. Okay, so basically we'll be starting from metal and towards the end we'll be having a non-metal. Okay, so I hope these three features are very much clear to everyone. Okay, यही तीनों जो है important features थे of modern periodic Mendeleev's periodic table. Let's quickly understand them through the table. Okay, so what did he tell? He told that the elements in there were approximately 63 elements which were known during this time. So he arranged the elements into 8 groups. Okay, so group number 1 to group number 7. So all these groups, they were again subdivided into A and B. As you can see, they are all divided into subgroups A and B. Okay, the group number 8, it was not divided into any subgroup. Next, he told that if I talk about the subgroup, any subgroup, the elements would be having similar properties. Like for example, if I talk about this subgroup, that is hydrogen, helium, lithium, potassium, rubidium and cesium. Okay, so these all elements were expected to have similar properties. Okay, similarly here, if I talk about these, chlorine, bromine, iodine, right? So these were expected to have similar properties. Okay, any particular subgroup, the elements were expected to have similar properties. And the third thing was, as we are moving from left to right, the metallic nature, it is gradually decreasing. मतलब जैसे ही हम लोग लेफ्ट से धीरे धीरे राइट की तरफ जाएंगे, जो हमारे एलिमेंट्स है उनका नेचर मेटल से चेंज होकर के धीरे धीरे नॉन मेटल हो जाएगा. Right? Okay, so this was the basic thing. Okay, now what is this R2O and RH? We are going to understand that. Okay, now students, there were some of the very amazing things that we got to know from Mendeleev's periodic table. So let's try to understand the merits of the Mendeleev's periodic table. Now, the very first merit was grouping. Hello Yug, how are you? Now, there were almost 63 elements known, okay, and Mendeleev ने क्या किया? These all elements were arranged in a way that the study now became just the study of 8 groups rather than studying about every single element. अभी हमें केवल उन 8 groups के बारे में पढ़ना था and we are done. So this grouping, it made the study easier. It made the study of elements easier. This was the very first advantage. Okay. Next, he left the gaps for undiscovered elements. Now, if you see over here, see, these are the gaps which are left over here. Okay, so if any element was not fitting to a place, Mendeleev did not forcefully put that element to that particular place. उन्होंने ऐसा नहीं सोचा कि चलो कैल्शियम के बाद यहाँ पर प्लेस जो है नहीं मतलब फिल हो रहा है तो लेट्स पुट एनी अदर एलिमेंट. नो, if it was not getting over there, he just left that space. Okay, so what happened is he left the gaps for undiscovered elements. Okay, not only did he leave the spaces, he also predicted the properties. So he predicted the properties of undiscovered elements. Okay, तो केवल प्लेस नहीं छोड़ा, he also told that ये जो एलिमेंट फाउंड होगा इस प्लेस पर, उसकी जो प्रॉपर्टीज है कुछ ऐसी होगी. सो ही गेव द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ दोज undiscovered elements. Okay, so there was one element, he actually named it as Eka aluminium. Eka aluminium means the element lying one place below aluminium. So you can see over here, ये aluminium के below जो element था, और next one was Eka silicon. So here, okay, so these elements were predicted. The properties were predicted of these elements. Okay, so what were the properties? Eka aluminium was the element which was taken by Mendeleev. Okay, and he predicted the properties, and the element that was actually found in the place of this was gallium. ठीक है. तो अभी मेंडलीव ने क्या बोला था, कुछ पर्टिकुलर प्रॉपर्टीज बताई थी. लेट अस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वर दोस प्रॉपर्टीज. सो ही टोल्ड दैट, जस्ट अ सेकंड स्टूडेंट्स, या ही टोल्ड दैट जो मास होगा इस एलिमेंट का जो कि इस वेकेंट प्लेस पर मिलेगा, उसका मास कुछ 68 रहेगा. एंड एक्चुअली वी गॉट गैलियम whose mass was 69.7. So it was like pretty near, right? He predicted it correctly. Next, he told that the melting point would be low. And the melting point of gallium is 307 Kelvin, which is actually low. Okay. Influenced by India, so he named element over Sanskrit description. Okay. Next, he told that density. Now see how accurate his predictions were. He told that the density would be 5.9 gram per cubic centimeter, and actually the density was 5.91 gram per cubic centimeter. So it was so accurate, right? And at the last, no, you're not too late, Natik. How are you? So at the last, he told about the formula of oxide. Okay, basically what happens, or what is the formula of the compound formed when it reacts with oxygen. The formula of oxide was M2O3. M here stands for the element. Okay, so actually the formula of gallium oxide is Ga2O3. So you can see how similar the properties are. Okay, इसी तरह से there was another one which was named as Eka silicon. And can you tell me what was the name of actual element which was found on the place or in the place of Eka silicon? Yes, guys, anyone? सिलिकॉन. बेटा एका सिलिकॉन की जगह सिलिकॉन कैसे मिल सकता है? No. Eka silicon तो it was name given. Yes, it is germanium. Very good, Yug. ओके, सो एका सिलिकॉन की जगह जो हम लोगों ने, नॉट हम लोगों ने, जो साइंटिस्ट ने एलिमेंट ढूंढा था, इट वाज जर्मेनियम. एंड अगेन द प्रॉपर्टीज वर वेरी सिमिलर टू दैट प्रेडिक्टेड बाय द मेंडलीव. ओके, तो इतनी सिमिलैरिटी थी. एंड द लास्ट पॉइंट और द लास्ट advantage or merit was he corrected the incorrect atomic masses. बेसिकली व्हाट डज दिस मीन कि जो एलिमेंट्स इधर उधर प्लेस हो चुके थे, ही प्लेस देम स्ट्रिक्टली अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर मास एंड देयर प्रॉपर्टीज. ओके, सो दे वर प्लेस्ड on the basis of similarity in the properties. Okay, is this thing clear to everyone? Now, if everything was so perfect, then why was this Mendeleev's periodic table not taken further? Okay, why was it discarded? So there were certain defects in Mendeleev's periodic table. Let's see what were those. The first is anomalous pairs. अभी एनॉमलस पेयर का मतलब होता है कि मेंडलीव की पीरियोडिक टेबल में कुछ एलिमेंट्स ऐसे भी थे जिन्होंने मेंडलीव की ही लॉ को फॉलो नहीं किया. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई टॉक अबाउट, okay, let's remove everything from here. Okay, तो यहाँ पर students at this time the noble gases were not found, but if you see in the modern periodic table, yes Yug, that is also the correct point. Okay, if you see in the modern periodic table हमारे पास जो argon होता है उसका mass होता है 39.9. ओके, एंड आर्गन जो है पोटेशियम से पहले आता है जिसका मास है 39.1. ओके, सो दैट इज एक्चुअली नॉट करेक्ट, राइट, कि आर्गन जिसका मास ज्यादा है इट इज बीइंग प्लेस्ड बिफोर पोटेशियम. सो दिस वाज वायोलेटिंग मेंडलीव्स लॉ. ओके, and we had another group also which was cobalt and nickel. Okay, तो ये यहाँ पर देखिए कोबाल्ट का मास है 58.93 and the mass of nickel is 58.71. So according to his law cobalt should come after nickel, but this was not happening. तो अपनी ही periodic table में उनका जो law था it was not being followed. So this was one of the defect. Okay, second was position of isotopes. अभी ये चीज क्या है? Now I hope everyone knows isotopes. The isotopes, they are the elements of they are the atoms of same element जिनका जो है atomic mass different रहता है, atomic number is same. So when Mendeleev's periodic table was arranged according to atomic mass, okay, तो isotopes को भी separate position मिलना चाहिए. Why? Because उनका भी mass different है. But ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. They were not given any separate position. Okay. Next is he grouped together the chemically dissimilar elements. Okay, जैसे कि यहाँ पर okay, ये देखो. Now if I talk about the alkali metals, okay, lithium, potassium, rubidium, okay, इनको प्लेस कर दिया हम लोगों ने सिल्वर, गोल्ड, कॉपर के साथ जिनकी कोई सिमिलैरिटी नहीं थी. So they were like completely dissimilar elements and they were placed together. So this was one of the demerit. Okay, तो एक तो ये चीज it was a problem, and next problem was he separated the elements which were a bit similar. So separation of chemically similar elements. Okay, that was again one of the defect. The next point is separation, not separation system net. Okay, next point was electron arrangement. Now there was no explanation given on how the electrons are arranged in the atom. Okay, तो वो एक बहुत ही बड़ा disadvantage था, defect था. Okay, we didn't come to know from Mendeleev's periodic table कि जो हमारे atoms हैं उसमें electron का arrangement किस तरह से होता है. Okay, and the last one which is still a problem in our modern periodic table is position of hydrogen. Okay, so these were some of the defects of the Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, and these were the reasons because of which Mendeleev's table was not taken further. Ishan, ma'am, please recall the points. Okay, sure. So we'll be recalling both the points, the merits and demerits. Okay. तो मेरिट की अगर हम बात करें या जो एडवांटेजेस थे मेंडलीव्स पीरियोडिक टेबल के बेटा वो थे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ग्रुपिंग ऑफ एलिमेंट्स. मतलब जो टोटल 63 एलिमेंट्स हमें पता थे उस टाइम. ओके, नाउ द स्टडी बिकेम जस्ट द स्टडी ऑफ 8 ग्रुप्स. ओके, नेक्स्ट ही लेफ्ट द गैप्स फॉर अनडिस्कवर्ड एलिमेंट्स. जो एलिमेंट नहीं फिट हो रहे थे उनको ऐसे he didn't forcefully put them up there. He just left the spaces and he also predicted the properties of undiscovered elements. Okay, The defects were there were anomalous pairs which were not following the Mendeleev's periodic law. Second, isotopes were not given separate position, which was again deviating the law. He placed the similar elements together, away from each other and dissimilar elements together, and his periodic table did not explain the electron arrangement. Okay. Okay, so ask questions. Okay, you. So let's have some questions on what we studied today. So your first question is, how many groups were there in Mendeleev's periodic table? How many groups were present in Mendeleev's periodic table? Come on, that is easy. 18. Eight groups and 7 period. And among those 8 groups, 7 groups were divided further into subgroups A and B. Okay. So what was the basis for classification of elements in Mendeleev's periodic table? Which property was taken as the base property? What was the base property? Good. So atomic mass was taken as the base property for the arrangement of the elements. Acha, which element was found in the place of Eka silicon? Correct Naitik, correct Ishan, correct Yog. हाँ जी, which? ना बेटा, एका सिलिकॉन की जगह जो एलिमेंट मिला था हमें, उसका क्या नाम था? दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. नो, एका सिलिकॉन. करेक्ट नैतिक. एनीवन एल्स? So the element that was known or was put up on the place of Eka silicon, it was germanium. Correct you. Okay. How many elements were known at the time of Mendeleev's periodic table? Approximately how many elements were known? Correct Ishan. Correct Yug. And the last question is, as we are moving from left to right, what effect does the metallic character show? It decreases, it increases, it remains constant. What? Correct Ishan. Correct you. Correct Natik. So as we are moving from left to right, the metallic nature, the metallic character, it decreases. Okay. So I hope you understood every single thing that we have covered here in the class, students. I hope you enjoyed the class. Okay. So thank you so much for attending the class. You can subscribe to the channel and you can also join the Telegram channel so that you can receive the regular updates of the classes. Okay. And students, if you want to have a detailed study on these topics, what you can do is you can download the Unacademy Learner app and you can join the special classes. Okay. Next session. So for next session, Ishan, you can join the Telegram channel. I'll just paste the link in the Telegram channel right now from the chat box. Okay. You can join that. Okay. You will receive all the updates. All right. So just after I end the session, I'll paste the link over there and you guys can join it. Okay. So we'll be meeting in the next class. Till then, guys, please keep learning, keep enjoying, keep studying. Okay. No, for hydrogen position is still a confusion. Okay, so come on students, all the very best for your next sessions. We'll be meeting in the next class, and now you can join the Telegram channel for all the important updates, which I will be posting the link of right now. Okay, bye bye.